Australia is renowned for its unique and diverse wildlife, featuring iconic species such as kangaroos, koalas, and wallabies. However, the harmonious coexistence between humans and some native creatures is not without its challenges. As the human population continues to expand and urbanize, Australians are grappling with an array of problems arising from wild animals, highlighting the delicate balance required for conservation and community welfare. In this video, we will delve into the pressing issues affecting Australia's wildlife and how Australia get into war with wild animals. The Great Emu War. The Great Emu War took place in Western Australia, primarily in the Campion district. During the period following World War I, the Australian government, seeking to assist returning soldiers and boost agricultural productivity, had offered land to war veterans for farming. Unfortunately, the fertile land also attracted large populations of emus, and the clash between man and bird ensued. Emus, with their swift running abilities and powerful legs, posed a significant challenge to the farmers. They ravaged crops, trampled fences, and created havoc in their search for food and water. The situation escalated as the emu population grew and the farmers struggled to protect their livelihoods. In an attempt to curb the emu menace, the Australian government, under the leadership of Major GPW, decided to employ military tactics. In November 1932, armed with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition, soldiers were dispatched to Western Australia to confront the emu threat head-on. The military intervention proved to be a peculiar spectacle, as soldiers found the emus to be elusive and surprisingly resilient. Despite the use of machine guns, the emus scattered and displayed remarkable agility, making them difficult targets. The soldiers soon discovered that the emus were not easily defeated in open terrain. The Great Emu War ended in a somewhat humorous defeat for the Australian military. Despite their efforts, the soldiers found it challenging to significantly reduce the emu population. The government eventually withdrew its forces, leaving the emus to continue their reign in the Australian outback. While the emus may have emerged victorious in this unusual conflict, the story lives on as a testament to the unpredictable nature of the Australian landscape and its inhabitants. Dingo Dilemma. Australia, known for its unique wildlife and diverse ecosystems, is home to one of its most iconic residents, the dingo. Despite their historical significance and ecological role, dingoes have long been viewed as a threat to livestock, leading to government-sanctioned control measures. Known for their cunning and predatory instincts, dingoes have been responsible for countless livestock deaths, causing financial losses for farmers across the country. In response to this, the implementation of dingo dog fences has emerged as a key strategy to protect livestock and promote harmonious cohabitation. The dingo dog fence is one of the longest structures of its kind globally, stretching over 5,600 kilometers across the Australian continent. This formidable barrier is designed to minimize the interactions between dingoes and domesticated livestock. The primary goal is to reduce the instances of dingoes killing or injuring livestock, providing a safeguard for the livelihoods of farmers and the welfare of their animals. The Australian government's decisive action against the dingo menace reflects its commitment to protecting the nation's agricultural sector and ensuring the welfare of livestock. Cane toads. In a bid to protect its unique and diverse ecosystem, Australia has declared war on one of its most notorious invasive species, the cane toad. Known for their toxic skin secretions and voracious appetites, these amphibians have wreaked havoc on native wildlife and disrupted the delicate balance of Australia's ecosystems. The nation has now mobilized efforts to curb the cane toad population and mitigate the environmental damage caused by their presence. The cane toad, originally introduced to Australia in 1935 to control beetle populations in sugar cane crops, quickly became a pest itself. With no natural predators and a rapid reproductive rate, the toads spread across the country. Reaching plague proportions, their toxic skin secretions make them lethal to many native predators, further exacerbating the threat they pose to Australia's unique fauna. Australia's diverse wildlife, from snakes and lizards to marsupials and birds, has suffered due to the cane toad invasion. Native species that attempt to consume these toads are often poisoned, leading to declines in populations and disruptions in ecological balance. The decline of local fauna has had a cascading effect on the entire ecosystem, impacting biodiversity and putting several species at risk of extinction. Researchers are working tirelessly to understand the biology and behavior of cane toads, seeking weaknesses that can be exploited to control their population. Rabbit plagues. Australia's picturesque landscapes and unique biodiversity have long been marred by the invasive presence of rabbits, a species introduced to the continent in the 18th century. While these adorable creatures might be associated with innocence, their unchecked population growth has led to widespread ecological and agricultural havoc, earning them the status of one of Australia's most notorious pests. The introduction of European rabbits to Australia in the 18th century, ostensibly for sport and food, had unintended consequences. Without natural predators, these prolific breeders rapidly multiplied, causing a domino effect on the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Their insatiable appetite for vegetation and propensity to burrow extensively resulted in widespread land degradation and erosion. Rabbits have been responsible for transforming vast stretches of Australia's once verdant landscapes into arid, barren wastelands. Their voracious grazing habits directly compete with native herbivores, endangering the survival of indigenous plants. In turn, this affects other native fauna that rely on these plants for sustenance, leading to a ripple effect throughout the food chain. Over the years, Australia has implemented various measures to control rabbit populations. Biological controls, such as the introduction of the myxoma virus in the 1950s and the rabbit hemorrhagic disease virus, RHDV, in the 1990s, were initially successful in curbing numbers. However, rabbits have shown remarkable resilience, developing immunity and adapting to these diseases over time. The battle against rabbit plagues in Australia is an enduring saga, highlighting the complex interplay between introduced species, ecosystems, and human intervention. As the country continues to grapple with this pervasive issue, finding sustainable and innovative solutions becomes increasingly crucial to preserve Australia's unique flora, fauna, and agricultural productivity. As Australia addresses these problems, it must navigate the delicate equilibrium necessary to ensure the coexistence of its people and the extraordinary wildlife that defines the nation.